In 1911, deep inside the rugged mountains of Pennsylvania, an isolated coal town promised frightened families one simple truth. If they worked hard and stayed brave, tomorrow would be better. Every miner descended into the darkness each morning, knowing he might never see daylight again. Yet they kept going, not because they had no fear, but because they refused to let fear decide their future. Decades later, the mines closed, the town was abandoned, and silence replaced the sound of industry. Today, its forgotten streets still whisper a lesson history has never stopped teaching. Fear of the future is natural, but courage is choosing to move forward anyway. In the autumn of 1911, nestled between steep hills and dense forests of western Pennsylvania, stood the thriving mining settlement of Red Creek Hollow. Built around one of the richest coal deposits in the region, the town pulsed with life. Steam engines echoed through the valley, trains carried coal toward Pittsburgh in New York, and rows of wooden homes filled with families hoping for a better future. Among the newest arrivals was a 31-year-old miner named Andrew Foster. Andrew had grown up in rural Kentucky, where his father often reminded him that courage was not the absence of fear, it was continuing despite it. "Everyone fears tomorrow," his father used to say. "The brave simply keep walking." Andrew carried those words into the mines every morning. Before sunrise, hundreds of miners entered narrow tunnels lit only by oil lamps. Heavy wooden supports creaked under enormous pressure. Coal dust filled the air, making every breath difficult. Gas explosions, collapsing tunnels, and falling rocks were constant dangers. Fear lived with every worker. Some admitted it, most hid it. Andrew was no different. Each morning before descending into the earth, he wondered whether he would return home to his wife Sarah and their young daughter Emily. Still, he climbed into the mine, because his family depended on him. By 1913, Red Creek Hollow had become one of Pennsylvania's busiest coal communities. A new school opened beside the church, general stores expanded, new families arrived almost weekly. The future appeared bright. Yet Andrew noticed something unusual. The workers who inspired everyone were not the strongest, nor the richest. They were the men who remained calm when everyone else became afraid. One of them was the mine foreman, Samuel Reed, a gray-haired veteran who had spent nearly 40 years underground. One cold winter morning, Andrew confessed his fears. "Every day I think something terrible might happen." Samuel smiled gently. "So do I." Andrew looked surprised. "Then how do you keep going?" Samuel picked up his lantern. "Because fear is a warning, not a prison." Those words stayed with Andrew. In 1915, the warning nearly became reality. Without notice, part of the eastern tunnel collapsed after weeks of heavy rain weakened the rock above. The thunderous crash shook the entire mine. Workers shouted. Dust filled every passage. Several miners became trapped behind fallen timber. Panic spread instantly. Some workers rushed toward the exits. Others froze completely. Andrew felt fear stronger than ever before. His hands trembled, his heart raced. Then he remembered Samuel's words. "Fear is a warning, not a prison." Instead of running, Andrew joined the rescue team. For nearly 12 exhausting hours, miners worked together, clearing debris by hand. Against all expectations, every trapped worker survived. That day transformed Andrew forever. He finally understood something important. Courage was never about feeling fearless. It was about refusing to surrender to fear. Years passed. Andrew became respected throughout Red Creek Hollow, not because he never felt afraid, but because younger miners trusted him during dangerous moments. Whenever new workers admitted they feared the future, Andrew repeated the same lesson Samuel had once shared with him. Take the next step, then the next one. Fear walks beside everyone. Don't let it walk in front of you. Then history changed. By the early 1920s, cleaner fuels, changing industries, and declining coal production slowly weakened Red Creek Hollow. Railroad shipments decreased, businesses closed, families moved away. The once busy streets became quiet. Children no longer filled the schoolyard. Eventually, the mine shut down completely. The company left. The workers scattered across America, searching for new opportunities. Andrew returned one final time years later. Grass covered the abandoned railway. Broken windows reflected the gray mountain sky. The church bell no longer rang. Only silence remained. A young traveler exploring the forgotten town asked him, "Was everyone here afraid when the town collapsed?" Andrew looked across the empty valley. "Yes." "Then why did so many rebuild their lives elsewhere?" Andrew smiled quietly. "Because fear ended the town, but it never defeated the people." Those words became the greatest lesson Red Creek Hollow left behind. Today, forgotten mining towns across America continue standing as silent reminders of uncertain futures. Wooden homes decay, railroad tracks rust, factories disappear, entire communities become history. But courage survives far longer than buildings ever can.
Fear has always been part of life. Every generation has faced uncertain tomorrows, economic hardship, natural disasters, changing industries, unexpected loss. History never promised certainty. It only rewarded those willing to keep moving despite uncertainty. Because the future has never belonged to people who never felt afraid. It has always belonged to those who faced fear and took one more step forward anyway. And beneath the silent hills of Pennsylvania, the forgotten remains of Red Creek Hollow continue whispering the same timeless dream.